Hey guys, I hope you missed me because I missed you. And in today's beautiful video, we are going to be using a pattern that is done by Marita Threads. I'll put a link in my description, and we're doing the origami bag or origami. There we go. This cute little crisscross bag, whatever. If you don't know me already, I am making kombucha leather, and from making kombucha leather I need to test it against other leathers. So I found this leather in my mother's fabric bin. Why she has it, I don't know, but it's definitely a synthetic leather. It's definitely made from polyester, most probably. It's this nice dark gray fabric, and I've already test sewed onto this, and surprisingly my machine can actually get through this. So I'm not using a leather needle nor a leather foot with this. Hopefully I'll survive, but this might get progressively worse throughout. So yeah, the whole reason why I'm actually doing this is that hopefully I'm able to make a kombucha bag, hopefully maybe from the same pattern or maybe a different style with kombucha leather, and then consumers can evaluate either or. We're going to cut everything out, stick it all together, and then eventually only then we'll be able to cut fabric out, iron the fabric, and then we can get started with the sewing. So this might take a few hours, but that's quite okay with me. The pen piece has been cut. We have a handle, which we only cut one of, and then we've got this massive pattern piece with a random hole in it, which is fun. I've cut out my lining fabric, and I've chosen this black material because this is the best that I could get with the fabrics I already have here. To try and figure out how to sew this together, and then I can do the exact same thing for the leather. We're gonna match these notches on either side of the fabric. So we've got these rectangular square notches on one side, and we have triangular ones on the other. So we're just going to match these up, and then we're going to sew until the edge of the fabric where it's pinned down. So when it's done, it should look something like this. So we're going to repeat this exact same process for our main fabric, which is our leather, and then we're going to turn it right sides out. I don't have any leather making tools, but I need to make these seams open. So I'm going to use a mallet that was in my garage, and I'm going to use that to open the seams because I don't have anything else that's heavy. So this thing, we're going to use her now. So you should have your leather fabric that's right side facing outwards, and your lining should be reversed, so your seam should be facing outwards. And then you're going to put the right side of the lining into the right side of the leather fabric. And now we're going to pin all along this edge here. And I'm going to show you a bit later how we're going to reverse this inside out. But you're just going to pin along the whole edge of the lining and the leather. Remember to just cut off the corners. Make sure you don't cut into the seam, just so that they're not as pointy and there's a lot more ease in that corner when you turn it inside out. And we're going to do the exact same thing, just put a little notch in the V of the bag so it has opportunity to move. Now we're going to unpick one of the seams in the lining. So just unpick it, and then that allows us to bring the leather fabric outside so we can push the lining back into the inside of your leather component. pull everything out, and also just use your finger to point out those edges as well in the corners and at the straps. Now we're going to pinch that open seam that we unpicked, and we're just going to pin it together, and you can sew this down. And then now you can push your lining back into your leather bag, and ta-da! There's your lining done. Now we're going to repeat it again and pin along the edge to make sure the lining's inside. Guys, I've got some interesting news. Having to sew the lining to the inside, so top stitching around the edge, has turned into an ordeal. My sewing machine is struggling a lot. The stitching is looking a bit janks. It's looking quite janky in some areas, so it's not great. I'll show you what my stitching is currently looking like. It's just looking a bit uneven. It's definitely something. I'm actually not so upset about it. It's looking good overall, so we'll see how this keeps going, because I'm having to pull the fabric through the sewing machine, which you shouldn't really be doing, and that's probably a sign not to carry on, but I'm going to carry on. Now we're going to take our square and we're going to fold down each side and just sew along that edge. And you just repeat that on both long sides. Then we're going to fold it in half. And depending on how much space or room you want, you can decide. And then you're going to sew along that edge again. Just cut off a bit of the corners to reduce bulk. And then turn it inside out. And then we should have a cylinder. You're going to take your cylinder and put it over one of the sides of the bag, you know, like where the straps are. And then we are going to fold the strap and the other strap together like that, and then sew along that line. I have to say my sewing machine has given up literally when I just finished this bag. The bag is done. She is done, and she does look a tiny bit janky. She's also huge, so let me show you what she looks like. So this is the bag. This is the final look. You can definitely play with the straps and how the strap looks and how these things feed into the strap. I'm sorry if it was a bit cryptic on how I made this bag, because I was fighting for my life with my sewing machine to actually make something like this. I think it turned out okay. If I were to rate this bag out of 10, I would rate it a 5 based on how I produced it and my sewing abilities. I feel like I could do a better job, but she's here though, and my sewing machine is broken. So I still consider that a win. But yeah, if you guys really enjoyed this video, you can comment something silly, you can comment anything you want. And yeah, thanks for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!